Good evening, everybody. Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you guys with Dallas Stewart on the speakerphone. Dallas, how you doing?
You good?
Yep, week 9 is in the books. We went 10-4. That shot in the dark pick on the Arizona Cardinals came through. And now we are on to the week 10 picks of the 2025 NFL seasons. The teams on the bye this week are the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Tennessee Titans. First off, to start off the week, we got the Las Vegas Raiders going to Denver to take on the Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football. The Raiders, in a crazy game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, ended up losing it at the end. Game went to overtime where Cam Little, Jacksonville, also hit a 68-yard field goal, the new all-time longest field goal in NFL history by a kicker. And the Raiders ended up getting a touchdown, but they tried to go for two to win it since Jacksonville got a touchdown first, and they failed the conversion and ended up losing 30-29. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos were in a tight game with the Houston Texans. Barely they crawled back and they ended up winning that game by like 3 points. But this is a pretty easy one. Denver's just rolling. I'm taking the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, give me Denver as well to get to 8-2. I like them to keep it. I like it. I like them to keep it rolling. Yeah, it's a pretty bad Thursday night game. Hopefully it's good because the last two Thursday night games have been blowouts.
Yeah, and then the Raiders were in the news today trading Jacoby Myers to Jacksonville, the team that they just lost to.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's kind of ironic.
yeah, it is really ironic. Not as ironic of what's about to go down next, though, in this next game, though. Up next, we got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Indianapolis Colts. This game is in Berlin, Germany, the first NFL game in Berlin. Not the first game in Germany, but the first game in Berlin. But the Atlanta Falcons are coming off of a 1 point loss to the New England Patriots, and the Indianapolis Colts suffered their second loss of the season to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Colts in the news today, they just traded for Sauce Gardner, traded two first round picks for Sauce Gardner with the New York Jets. So Sauce Gardner now has to hop a jet to Berlin to get ready to play in this game for the Indianapolis Colts. And yeah, they're going to be pissed about, the way they got dominated by the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons. Man, I think they're going to have a really rough time with this one, especially now Sauce Gardner going to be covering up Drake London in this matchup.
Yeah,
Yeah. Were you surprised by the trade?
a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Falcons blew it last week.
Yeah, and the Colts just got dominated, man. But other than that, I got the Indianapolis Colts going into Berlin and coming out on top and bouncing back. So give me Indianapolis.
Yeah, give me Indianapolis to bounce back from that egg they laid against Pittsburgh last week. I just don't think they lose two in a row.
No, not a chance in hell. All right. Up next, we got a toilet bowl. We got the Cleveland Browns going to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets. Jets in the news, as I mentioned before, traded Sauce Gardner to the Colts, and then they traded defensive tackle Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys. So the Jets loading up on first round picks, man. Crazy. And meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns are coming off of the bye week. And before the bye week, which was our bye week on Red Zone, the Cleveland Browns. What did happen last time with the Browns, Dallas?
Didn't they lose to New England pretty bad?
Oh yeah, that's right. New England blew them out. That's right. That's right.
Wasted a 5 sack game from Miles Garrett.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. 5 sack game for Myles Garrett, completely wasted. New York Jets. Well, they coming off the bye as well, but they got but before the bye week, they got their first win of the season over the Cincinnati Bengals in that
That
crazy
Casey
game.
comeback.
Yeah, that was such a fun red zone slate, but oh man, I'm gonna go ahead though, and I'm gonna take the Cleveland Browns with their defense to just mollywop the Jets. I think Myles Garrett's gonna have a field day on Justin Fields or whoever their quarterback is gonna be. I think Myles Garrett's gonna get after him, and it's gonna be a long day for the Jets. So I'm taking the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, give me Cleveland to pick up their third win of the year and in the toilet bowl of week 10. What a bad game.
Yeah. All right, up next, we got the New Orleans Saints going to Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers. The Saints got blown out by the Rams as expected, and the Carolina Panthers upset the Green Bay Packers. What a game that was, man. That was a crazy, you could say that by far that maybe might be upset of the year.
Maybe
One of the
they were
ups,
pretty big underdogs.
yeah, 14-point underdogs. They were 14-point.
Especially at the week after getting blown out at home by Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of, I mean, two toilet. I mean, not really a toilet bowl. I mean, the Panthers, man, just and then the Saints in the news. They just traded us Rashid Shaheed. They traded Shaheed to the Seahawks.
Yeah,
Adding that speed, man. Speed kills, man. And Shaheed was one of their best receivers aside from Chris Olave. So I'm anxious to see what Rashid Shaheed will do with Jackson Smith and Jigba this week when we take on Arizona. But yeah, it seems like the Saints are mailing it on the season. So I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers to get the win at home here.
yeah. Give me Carolina to get to to get to a surprising 6-4, I would say, uh, and kind of keep pressure on Tampa and the NFC South.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we got the New England Patriots taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. New England Patriots, they freaking escaped narrowly against the Atlanta Falcons, 24-23. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming off of their bye week, where
And before that, they just smothered New Orleans.
that's right,
I
they
mean,
did.
their defense did at least.
Yeah.
Their offense didn't really look that good in that game.
Nah, they really didn't. This is maybe a potential game of the week candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but New England's red hot, and then I mean they're freaking 7-2 or 6-2. Patriots they're 7-2. Yeah, Patriots and Colts are tied for the best record in the NFL right now. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, whoo, like I said, game of the week candidate here. I'm gonna go ahead and man, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go ahead though, and I'm going to take Tampa Bay to knock New England to their third loss. I think Baker Mayfield's going to get it going with Emeka Ibuka and some of the targets that they got, and I think that defense will be able to get after Drake May. I mean, whew, this is a good game, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give the slight advantage to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay as well. I've just been more impressed with their overall body of work than I have uh, New England's. New England's really only good win is Buffalo.
By
I mean,
far.
they've beaten two teams above 500. I just favor Tampa a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So, all right, up next we got the Baltimore Ravens going to US Bank Stadium, Minneapolis to take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Baltimore Ravens handled the Miami Dolphins with ease last week on Thursday Night Football, and the Ravens just made a trade with the Tennessee Titans for Draymond Jones.
Wow, a
Yeah,
brief former Seahawk.
yeah, and then the Minnesota Vikings, an impressive win over the Detroit Lions, where JJ McCarthy, coming off of his injury, got it going with Justin Jefferson. He even ran in a touchdown, and very impressive win for the Minnesota Vikings, I would say. But Lamar Jackson is back, and he's hot, getting back to where he left off. So I'm going Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, give me Baltimore to make it three in a row. Uh, Minnesota's just been so inconsistent this year. I don't believe they've won consecutive games yet. I think they've alternated all their games so far.
Yeah. Well, I thought they won back to back when they beat the Bears with Tyler Huntley, and then they just beat the Dolphins in Lamar Jackson's first game back. Yes.
No, I don't think Minnesota's won back-to-back games yet this
Oh,
year.
you're talking about Minnesota. I thought you were talking about the Ravens. My bad. But yeah, you're
No, Minnesota's yeah, they're on a two-game winning streak.
yeah. All right. Up next, we got the Buffalo Bills going to Miami to take on the Miami Dolphins. The Buffalo Bills last week, they freaking took down the Kansas City Chiefs by 7 points, barely escaped after that doink from Matt Prater. And then the Miami Dolphins, as I mentioned before, blown out by the Baltimore Ravens. Easy. Give me the Bills, lock of the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bills, and I'm gonna lock them up. And So for them to complete the sweep of Miami.
Yeah,
Miami's just a mess right now.
they really are. Man, I can't believe they're still keeping Mike McDaniels for the remainder of the year.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the New York Giants going to Soldier Field, going to Chicago to take on the Chicago Bears. New York Giants got mollywopped by the San Francisco 49ers and their backups, and the Chicago Bears are coming off of a freaking. Let's see, the got the Bears on here. Oh yeah, the Bears won in a crazy shootout against the Cincinnati Bengals. That was an insane game, especially that final seconds of that game-winning touchdown to Colston Loveland. What a game that was! A surprise game, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the game, probably the game of the year so far.
One, oh, by far and away. And Chicago is just rolling right now. I like the way Chicago's rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the Chicago Bears to get another win here at home against the New York Giants. So I'm taking Chicago.
Yeah, give me Chicago as well. The Giants are feeling the effects of the injuries and they haven't really looked competitive the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and
Ever since they imploded against Denver.
demoralizing loss, like you mentioned, has an impact on the teams. And then
Yeah,
they missed some
I think
opportunities against San Francisco last week too.
yeah, they missed some opportunities last week and they started off by scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, they did on their first.
They just couldn't contain CMC.
Exactly, got to contain CMC. All right, up next we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going to Houston to take on the Houston Texans. Jaguars won the last matchup against these two, but the Jaguars barely escaped Las Vegas with a 30-29 win in overtime. And meanwhile, the Houston Texans fell to the Denver Broncos. CJ Stroud was knocked out of the game as well with a concussion. And yeah, I don't really know the status of what CJ Stroud's status is, but the Texans defense has really been coming on though.
Yeah,
Granted, it was a tough loss to Denver, that's for sure. I mean, Cortland Sutton got it going. Bo Nix was able to get it going on him and able to pull off a last second win.
this is a game Houston really needs
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe the Jaguars let the Raiders hang in for as long as they did. I can't believe it took overtime. The Jaguars almost blew that game, and then Cam Little made that insane 68-yard field goal earlier on in the game, but made a 48-yarder to tie the game and force overtime. Man, and then freaking
Yeah,
Jaguars made a trade with the Raiders afterwards, getting Jacoby Myers on the Jags.
yeah,
Yeah, but man, we'll see what the status is of CJ Stroud, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Texans to split the series with the Jaguars. I think the Texans get the Jaguars back for earlier in the season, so I'm going to go Houston, Texas. I just like their defense a little bit better.
yeah. I'm gonna go Houston as well because I feel like they're more of a desperate team, and I just feel like Jacksonville is kind of a fraudulent 5-3.
Yeah,
I don't really. I'm not really a big believer in them.
neither am I. I'm not believing in Jacksonville either, man. Just they're kind of starting to look fraudulent, like you said.
Yeah,
All right. Up next, we got our matchup. We got the Arizona Cardinals coming to Seattle to take on the Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals coming off of that big win last night on Monday Night Football over the Dallas Cowboys, 27-17, and the Seahawks just absolutely pistol whipped the Washington Commanders, 38-14. Prayers up for Jaden Daniels and hope for a speedy recovery for him because that was brutal to watch that injury. And the Seahawks made a trade earlier today for former New Orleans Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed and pairing him with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Torrey Horton, man, I'll tell you what, we're gonna have a pretty speedy receiver core now, man. And who knows? I don't know what this means for like with Cooper Kupp. I don't. Hopefully, we're getting him back soon. We know Jake Bobo's injury is pretty significant, so he'll probably be out for a while. So does that signify maybe the out for I mean, for Jake Bobo or I mean, hopefully, like, and I love what Cooper Kupp was doing last Monday night on the sidelines when he was just coaching up the receiving core, man. It was, I mean, back on Sunday, I love that Cooper Kupp had the headset on and was coaching up the guys, and he seemed like he did a pretty good job with that because the Seahawks receiver
yeah,
core went off on that one. We all know what happened last time down in the desert on week 4. Pottsville Curse got the Cardinals at the end with that kickoff where it just landed short of the landing zone. And then Darnold hits JSN for that 22-yard game, and we set up the game winner to Jason Myers. This time the game is in Seattle, and I feel like we're going to have the elements on our side. And last time it really should not have been that close. I mean, I don't know what the status is of Ernest Jones. So my biggest concern is really the status of Ernest Jones in this game. And then of course Josh Jobe left our game with an injury too. So I mean Nick Emenwari's back. He's been playing some darn good football out there. Witherspoon. And then now the Cardinals are officially starting Jacoby Brissett. So this will be back-to-back years that we faced Brissett since the last time we faced him was when he was with the Patriots in week 2, and we ended up winning that one in overtime. So I think we're still very familiar with Jacoby Brissett. Not going to overlook him because he got it going with Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. and DeMarcado was able to get it going on the ground, and their defense with Calais Campbell and Josh Sweat was able to swarm Dak Prescott last night. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, good luck catching up with the speedy trio now with JSN, Torrey Horton, and Rashid Shaheed in the mix. And with that alone, I'm not going to take them lightly, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Seahawks to complete the sweep and continue the ownership of Arizona. So give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, give me the Seahawks as well to get to 7-2. I do think it's going to be a tough game. I'm not overlooking Arizona. It, we've they've given us problems the last few years, and it's always been a It's always been a struggle. It feels like, but I think we get it done at home.
Yeah, especially since the Cardinals have struggled in recent history in Seattle, where
And I don't think they're looking ahead to next week against the Rams. They better not be looking ahead.
they didn't look ahead on Washington, and that's why we pretty much blew them out. Hopefully, I'll tell you what, I'm hoping for a same outcome like we did in Washington. I would love nothing more as a Seahawks fan than to see the same type of outcome against Arizona than what we did to Washington back on Sunday night, because that was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah,
If we can get that going again, I would love to see that. That's for sure. Yeah. Anyway, knock on wood. Hope that it happens. But yeah, got Seahawks at home, and hopefully the elements will be on our side. That's for sure. Because Cardinals
yeah,
have struggled in the last few years. They haven't won in Seattle since 2021.
yeah.
And in recent history, because we've had the elements of the Pacific Northwest in the cold, Cardinals don't tend to do so well in the cold. They've done better in domes. All right. Up next, we got the Detroit Lions going to Washington to take on the Washington Commanders. The Detroit Lions got beat by the Minnesota Vikings last week. They're going to be going into this one pissed. As obviously the Commanders losing Jaden Daniels, like I said, prayers for a speedy recovery. They're now going to have to go Marcus Mariota. I'm going to take Detroit to just go into this game at Northwest Stadium and they're just going to freaking unload on them just like we did back on Sunday night. Commanders defense is just bad, and I think Jared Goff and Jamison Williams and Gibbs and Montgomery and Amon-Ra St. Brown and freaking Sam Laporta are going to have a day. So give me Detroit big.
Yeah, give me the Detroit as well to get revenge for the divisional round loss last year. They've had this game marked on their calendars for 9 months. I mean, they have to be still ticked off about just laying an egg in the divisional round last year. And Washington's season is basically over now. They came out with no sense of urgency or desperation last week. That was a game they had to win.
Exactly. And they didn't, and they came out absolutely flat. And then they really should have pulled Jaden Daniels out of the game when it was 38-7. They should have pulled him
That
out.
was one of the biggest coaching mistakes I've ever seen.
Yeah, you got to put a majority of the blame on that to Dan Quinn. That's for sure.
Yeah,
'Cause he may have just costed the Commanders their season. All right.
yeah.
Up next, NFC West rivalry. Again, we got the Los Angeles Rams going to Levi Stadium to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Rams blew out the Commanders. I mean, the Rams blew out the Saints, and the 49ers, they took care of their business in MetLife Stadium against the New York Giants. And you know the Rams had this one circled since they choked that Thursday night game to the 49ers backups. And the 49ers lost Michael Williams for the year, their rookie pass rusher, to a torn ACL. The injuries just keep piling on for the Niners. I think this time around it'll be much different around, and McVay won't make the same stupid mistakes he did last time. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Rams to knock off the 49ers, and we're gonna have the same record going into our matchup in Week 11 when we go down to Los Angeles. I think so. I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Rams in this one.
I'm going to take the Rams as well to get the split and get revenge for losing that tough Thursday night game back in like week 5. when the Niners were all banged up and the Rams couldn't take advantage, and they came out flat in that game in the first half, and it cost them. I just can't see San Francisco pulling off the sweep.
No, no. It'll be interesting to watch, though, that's for sure. Grant, I'll be keeping an eye on that game on my phone while I'm at the Seahawks Cardinals game, that's for sure. Which obviously that won't be no walk in the park either, but I'll have to keep an eye on my phone too, that's for sure. All right, then we got Sunday Night Football. Check your local listings, as my buddy Mac Sports would say. Shout out to Mac. And we got the his game. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to SoFi Stadium to take on the Los Angeles Chargers for Sunday Night Football. The Steelers getting that huge upset win at home against the Indianapolis Colts. TJ Watt had himself a game. He was getting sacks. He was forcing fumbles, and the linebackers were getting interceptions. They were able to just get after Daniel Jones and make him very uncomfortable and made him probably play his worst game of the year. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Chargers are coming off of a win in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans. Granted, it was 27-20. I could not believe that they were able to let the freaking Titans hang around in that game. That was definitely a shocker for me.
Yeah, I was surprised at how they let the Titans hang around with them, and wasn't an impressive performance, but they got it done.
Yeah, it wasn't. And Steelers, they're going in this game feeling really good about themselves after the way they just handled Indianapolis. And
Second time they played football in the last 3 weeks.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the Pittsburgh Steelers to go into Los Angeles, and I think they're gonna get after Justin Herbert. I think they can go in there, and I think they can pull it off. So give me the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go Pittsburgh as well to get to 6-3, and I think they continue their momentum from that upset win against Indianapolis, and I really think they can get after Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I think they could do it too. I mean, TJ Watt, he's been a defensive player of the year for a few times, so as long as he's on there, you always gotta look out for TJ. And then Alex Highsmith, the
Yeah,
linebacker, and then Cameron Hayward Bay, and just man, Cameron Hayward. And then they got some dogs on that defense for sure, man.
yeah.
All right. Up next, we got the Monday night game. We got the Philadelphia Eagles going to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. The Philadelphia Eagles are coming off of their bye week, and then
They get their revenge on the Giants before that.
yeah, they did. They ran all over the Giants, which was a game where Cam Scatterbo got injured.
Yeah,
And then meanwhile, the Green Bay Packers laid an egg at home against the Carolina Panthers as a 14. They were 14-point favorites, and they absolutely choked it to Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. Man, just Jordan Love.
their offense was just pathetic.
Yeah, Micah Parsons needs to have a big game here, especially against a tough Philadelphia team. And Saquon, they got their momentum back after.
Wild card re Wild card rematch.
So yeah, Green Bay's definitely had this game marked on their calendar, but despite it, I still don't think they have enough
No.
for Jalen Hurts. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles to go into Green Bay and walk out with a W on Monday Night Football. I'm going Philadelphia.
Yeah, give me Philadelphia as well to get to 7-2, I believe, after the bye. I just I just don't think Green Bay has enough on offense to keep up, and them losing Tucker Kraft for the year,
That's right.
that's gonna be a huge blow to their offense.
Yep, torn ACL for Tucker Kraft. That's definitely a big blow. All right, and there you have it. Those are our picks. We got Broncos over Raiders, Colts over Falcons in Berlin, Germany, Browns over Jets, Panthers over Saints, Buccaneers over Patriots, Ravens over Vikings, Bills over Dolphins, Bears over Giants, Texans over Jags, Seahawks over Cardinals, Lions over Commanders, Rams over 49ers, Steelers over Chargers, and Eagles over Packers. And yeah, all right, let's see how we do this week, and let's keep it going. And drop your picks down below in the comments below and let me know what y'all think, man. Anyway, catch y'all later. If you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. As always, go Seahawks. Let's get it this Sunday at Arizona. Player interactions will be going on again. So catch y'all then. Peace.